On August 23rd, 2022, I packed all my stuff in a storage and left with a one-way ticket. Ever since that day, I moved to a different city every month. And so far, I've lived in more than 23 cities and all while working full-time. So if you're wondering whether it's even possible, it definitely is, because the only other option, of course, would be to save up money, then quit, and then use your savings to go on like a sabbatical. But the problem is, number one, every day that passes by, you feel like you're eating your savings away. Number two, you also add on a ton of pressure to explore and see the most that you can, because obviously time is running out, which then leads to burnout. I've seen it in so many people. And then obviously, number three, the biggest problem, one day it has to come to an end because you're not working. So instead, let's go over the 4-step process in order to work full-time while traveling. Number one, most importantly, having that remote first job. If the job you have right now isn't one, then it's time to find one. How? There's a ton of companies that are looking for remote positions, and Chatty can definitely help you out and give you a full list of the companies that are currently hiring. You have a skill or can sell something, then sign up to Fiverr or Upwork. And then lastly, you always have the option to create something that's yours, whether that's a service, a product, consultations, coaching. There's so many options. Step number two, once you have that job, is to create a schedule. What hours will you work? What time zones will you be in? Do you have to be sitting down from a certain time to a certain time in a certain time zone location? What kind of setup and equipment will you need? As someone who works in Eastern time zone, one of my favorite time zones ever is European time, because I always feel like I'm ahead, and then I also have a long part of the day to go out and explore. I can also do Central time or Pacific time. I'm going to be a little behind, so it does require me to start my day earlier, but it does still work. And then the hardest Eastern time, if I do have a lot of meetings, is obviously being in Asia, because that's like completely the opposite. But you have to ask yourself these questions. For example, if you're going to be a developer or a video editor, will you need certain type of equipment to get that job done? Do you need a second screen? Things like these are key to knowing before you head out. From there, we move on to number three, which is to create your financial plan. How much do you make? What's your max spending? How much are you allocating to other things like savings or expenses at home? My favorite way of doing this is in a pie chart. I like dividing it, so I go by percentages. 70% to what I'm spending while I'm traveling, like day to day, 20% to savings, and then 10% that I call my play money. This is basically a pile that I have for whenever I'm traveling and I want to splurge on something that just happens once in a lifetime. Like, I have that pile. Knowing your financials is the most important part of being able to do this. This way, you know what you can or maybe can't book just yet. You're not on a limbo trying to figure it out, but it's just like clear, simple, makes the booking, which is the next step, a lot easier. So number four is where the fun part actually begins. The part that everyone feels like is number one, but is actually the last in line. After I left my things in the storage and left with a one-way ticket, my first big international stop was Thailand. I wanted to do absolutely everything. I wanted to see everything. So I was here, I was there, I was over there, I was bouncing around, and very quickly did I notice that number one, this was not going to be sustainable. Number two, I was not getting any work done. And number three, I was in environments that weren't comfortable because they had picked hotels. That was like the first thing, like, hey, I'm traveling, let me just book a hotel that I like. Well, I was completely wrong. It was a mess. I realized real fast that things had to change. So I made the decision that from there on, I would only stay in Airbnbs where I had my kitchen, where I had my space to be comfortable, and I would at least spend 1 month in each place. By me staying 1 month in each place, I fully settled down, I build my routine, I have enough time to work while also getting to explore the place, and not just explore it and see like the normal touristy sites, but actually feel like I'm living like a local in each place, seeing what my life would be like in Italy, Dubai, Croatia, Mexico, Colombia. And on top of it, you reduce costs like crazy in rent, in car rentals, scooter rentals, gyms, literally everything that you'll need in order to make your life there. For stays, off the bat, my top recommendation is booking through Airbnbs, but lately I have been very into co-livings because you do still have your space while meeting people, which just is like the cherry on top of traveling. So lately I've been staying at Outsite, which they have various locations around the world. It's really cool. I'll leave the link down below. For flights, I honestly just recommend booking directly through your credit card portal. This is the way that you'll maximize your miles, get the most security. Like if a flight needs to be changed, if it's ever canceled. For example, mine in specific has price drop protection. So if the price goes down, I get reimbursed. And if you don't have a travel credit card yet, that's literally step number 1. So go ahead and watch this video as soon as this one ends. For tours and activities, Airbnb Experiences, or Get Your Guide. They have the most availability. Every time I've booked through either one of them, it has been super trusted and I've had a great experience. And then to get around, Google Maps, and of course the travel guides that I've been creating for every city that I've been in. Now with time, you'll start tweaking what cities match your vibe depending on what you're into, the weather you like, the type of ambience, the food. Like, there's so many little things, but for me, this is what my checklist consists of. It has to be hot and sunny. Myself and the cold weather just don't get along. The majority of the time, it has to have a beach or some water nearby. Good walkability, always, always. Safe, hello. And I like direct flights, or I try to keep them as short as possible. It's just me personally. I have learned that instead of going, let's say, to Bali and going on a 30-hour flight, I might as well stop along the way, spend a month in different places until I make my way to Bali. I'm not in a rush. And that's the beauty of living life when you can still work while working remote. You're not counting the PTO days that you are allowed to use. You enjoy more, you stop in places that have never even crossed your mind, and you realize the beauty that this world has literally in every single corner. Clearly, this is a subject that I love, so if you have any other questions, my DMs are open on Instagram. And I recommend watching this playlist over here where I break down the cost per month of every city that I've been in.